Number 11, BYU taking down Cincinnati 26-14. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with the BYU Cougars. Highest graded player, of course, was running back LJ Martin with a career day against Cincinnati. I'll talk about him later on in the show. 83.4 grade. Tavion Beasley, the corner, 79.4. Defensive tackle John Tomepeau with a 77.2 grade. Safety Tanner Wall, 76.6. Faletau Satuala, another safety here, 73. And Bear Bachmeier with a 59.9 grade in the win for the Cougars. Let's go over to Cincinnati with their highest graded players in the loss. Highest graded players, both of them were pair of safeties. Christian Harrison, 77.6. Antoine Peak Jr., 73. Edge rusher Jalen Hunt, 72.1. Michael Coleman, the edge rusher as well, 70.1. Our guy, the Godfather, Dante Corleone, the defensive tackle, 68.3. And Brendan Sorsby with a 62.4 grade in the loss for Cincy. Cincinnati now officially is out of contention for the Big 12 title game. Dalton, what told the story in this game?
Third down. I'm watching this game, and BYU is able to sustain drives, had 38 and a half minutes of time of possession because they were 7 for 14 on third down. Now, they did a nice job putting themselves in good situations, a lot of third and shorts early in the game. They were able to have that two-way go of continuing to run the football either with LJ Martin or with Bear Bachmeier in those third and short situations and convert. Cincinnati just 4 for 13 on third down, 1 for their first 10 on third down going into the fourth quarter, the 10th one there in the fourth quarter. Basically, 1 for 10 on third down. That's a big reason you were down 20-7 in this game when it really mattered the most. And not getting those conversions, I think a big story in this game for Cincinnati. They're going to be kicking themselves 3 missed field goals in this game. That's a big part of it too. So really, third and fourth down execution really hurting Cincinnati in this game. BYU was able to sustain drives, sustain time of possession, stay on the run game, keep themselves in good situations. And honestly, I think more impressive than anything for BYU as a whole team, just the sheer grit and physicality they came out and played with, right? This was not a game where, like the Iowa State game or the TCU game, where it was going to look flashy and Bear Bachmeier was going to get high flying. Cincinnati's defense is very, very good. Cincinnati as a team, look, this is a good football team with just 1 or 2 flaws that really take them out of contention here, but BYU had to go into a loud environment and play physical football. It's relatively cold outside. They didn't mind it at all. They've been playing this type of physical football all year. This is first the foundation, the identity of their team. Then they worked to Bachmeier in the passing game. But this was a gritty, physical win from this Cougars team. You got to give them a lot of credit for that.
Absolutely. I'm going to shout out the run defense right here for BYU. Only 89 rushing yards for Cincinnati in this game. And I mentioned in the preview how Cincinnati is going to want to rely on their run game, which has been basically a top 10 run game in college football all season long against what has been overall a pretty average BYU run defense all season long, because BYU plays man coverage at a very, very high rate. And in all 3 of Cincy's losses this year against Nebraska, Arizona, and Utah, they play a lot of man coverage and they completely lock down those receivers, and Cincinnati could not do anything else in the passing game at least. BYU did a good job of man coverage of this game as well. The difference is as well, though, Cincinnati could not get anything going on the ground. 89 total rushing yards, 48 yards after contact, and only 4 broken tackles for Cincy's run game, and only 54 designed rushing yards for the Bearcats in this one, because Sorsby had 35 yards on scrambles in this one as well. And also, BYU had light boxes, meaning 6 or fewer defenders in the box, on 13 of Cincinnati's 22 rushing attempts in this game. So it's not like the Cougars just stacked the box in Cincinnati, that's how they stopped the run game. No, they played with their normal defense, and they still shut down this run game for Cincinnati. Everybody at all 3 levels, the defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary, they all brought their hard hats this week in run defense. Outstanding job by BYU, because if Cincinnati was going to win this game, it was going to be because of the run game, and BYU did not allow that to happen.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, look, only 54 designed rushing yards, like you mentioned, and 28 of those 54 came on the only explosive run of the day for Cincy's running backs from Evan Pryor, a 28-yard carry there. So you think about that. Usually it's so often Sorsby and Pryor and Tawi Walker controlling the pace of the game and getting behind a really good offensive line, but you mentioned it, BYU at all 3 levels was committed to stopping the run in this game. And honestly, look, Sorsby, the surface level stats tell you he was okay. The grading tells you he was just okay. The 62.9, that's not enough to carry you through against a defense like this. BYU committed to stopping the run. They dared Cincinnati to beat them with Sorsby's arm. That was not going to happen, especially, again, on third down for the majority of the game. When Cincinnati's in obvious passing situations too much, they're just not going to win. We've seen this enough times against Nebraska, against BYU, against Arizona. There's just too often where their receivers can't get the job done, and Sorsby, too many tight window throws you're asking him to make, especially against good secondaries. To me, in their 4 losses, the common thread is that you're playing against a good secondary. Can you beat it? No.
Yeah.
And that's just what Cincinnati is this year. So, look, they're a solid football team. They can run the ball well. They've got a good defense. But at the end of the day, their passing game was not good enough to beat the better secondaries on their schedule.
And like I said, all 4 of those secondaries play a lot of man coverage, too. Sorsby's been great against zone coverage this year, but they just can't separate and win against man coverage. And, Dalton, you want to shout out even more that BYU secondary.
I mean, just all the way around, what a unit they have. I mean, we've talked about Satuala and Wall, especially at safety all year. Evan Johnson at corner is outstanding. And you mentioned it. You're talking about run defense. Their 2 highest graded run defenders in this game were Satuala and Evan Johnson, right? Tanner Wall with the interception. I mean, you've just got everybody contributing, but I think this secondary has been so good all year in just holding down opponents on the back end. You mentioned a lot of man-to-man coverage. It's not an easy assignment, and they don't have I think the other funny thing to me too is they don't have a dynamic pass rush by any means, and yet this secondary continues to get it done. They're so fundamentally sound. They ball hawk when they need to, and it feels like, maybe I got to look at it, but it feels like every single big game, at least one of these 2 safeties has an interception, right? Whether it's Tanner Wall or Satuala. I mean, they've just been outstanding all year, and I thought another great game from them, both in coverage and in run defense.
Yeah, the middle of BYU's defense, whether it be D tackles, linebackers, or the safeties, I mean, it's just incredible what they're doing this year. And those safeties for BYU and Satuala and Tanner Wall, they've been stars for the Cougars all season long. I, of course, have to shout out LJ Martin in this one. With what an incredible game for him against Cincinnati. 222 rushing yards, a career high for the sophomore, with 2 touchdowns on the ground as well. 119 yards after contact, 9 broken tackles, 6.9 yards per carry, 6 explosive runs. And Cincinnati entered this game with a top 35 run defense grade in college football. The Bearcats have no pass rush. They are really good at stopping the run, like Dante Corleone, who's one of the better run defenders that we have in college football. But LJ Martin ran wild on Cincinnati in this one. He's a physical running back. He's a rising superstar right now in college football. He is only a true sophomore. He's already one of the best running backs in college football. Now, Dalton, I'll tell you right now, he's probably going to be, for me at least, going into next year, maybe a top 5 running back in the country.
Oh, he should be. I mean, you talk about the offensive line and the work they're doing. They're a lot better than they were last year. This offensive line's been outstanding run blocking for Martin all year. Martin has been terrific. He's really the engine of this offense, right? Bachmeier as the true freshman quarterback and maybe a top 10 quarterback heading into your rankings. And we'll think of it. We got a long way to go before the summer and figuring those things out. But you talk about really what the engine of this offense is. It's LJ Martin first and foremost, right? And he was in this game. And really, there was moments where Bachmeier had to play well and he had to just make the occasional play to keep the chains moving, right? But this game was really about the physicality of BYU on both sides of the ball. Offensively, that's LJ Martin. I mean, the yards after contact that he gets, he's so strong. He's a straight-ahead runner. He probably reminds people a lot of a former BYU running back, Tyler Algier, in the same role that he played. Even when you had Zach Wilson and all those high-flying weapons, Algier was the engine of that offense. LJ Martin does the same thing for this team, and the physicality in the run game of him and Bachmeier really made a huge difference in this game.
And we were looking up to get on the sidelines before Dalton, and just like the size of these BYU players, like even Bear Bachmeier,
all of them,
he is a massive quarterback.
They are a physical,
LJ Martin looks massive.
Football team. Yep,
they are a physical football team. Speaking of us being on the sidelines, I want to shout out the BYU faithful as well in this one. We felt the love from you guys when we were at this BYU Cincinnati game. We had Keanu Tanavasa's dad came up to us and talked to us for a little bit, which was really, really cool. Many BYU fans in the stands said hi to us too, which is really awesome as well. Many who worked for BYU came up and said hi to Dalton and I. Brett Pine and Robbie Bullis said hi to us as well. Again, it meant the world to us to really feel the love from you guys in the BYU faithful. And not to mention that, Dalton, not only were we shouting them out because they were showing us love, they showed out.
Oh, there was a ton of them.
That was incredible how many BYU fans were there.
Yeah, they filled darn near the whole roadside of the stadium.
It was 1,600 miles away.
It's a cross-country game. This isn't like, the Utah game and they went right down the road. This is like, it's going from Provo to Cincinnati. That's a long way. There was a ton of BYU fans there. I mean, we've been to a couple of Cincinnati games now, and that's as good a road showing as I've seen from any team this year. It's unbelievable.
We were in the press box before the game, and we saw the tailgate for BYU off in the distance, and it was a massive tailgate. I was like, dude, it's one of the best fan bases, honestly, in college football. So shout out to you guys. Really appreciate you guys watching the show and saying hi to us last night at the game. It was really cool for us to interact with you guys like that. We have to make it to Provo at some point.
We got to figure it out. Maybe if because they get a Friday night game every year, so maybe
that's probably the only way we do it. That'd be a quick turnaround for us.
It's an early Sunday show. It'd be tough
in Cincinnati, yeah.
Unless we do it live.
But hey, they made it out to Cincinnati, so we should make it out to Provo.
Live Sunday show from Provo.
That would kind of rock, yeah. That would kind of rule.
We'll figure that one day. We'll figure out.
We got to make it out there
next season.
But shout out to BYU faithful. You guys have been one of our best fan bases, really, since we started doing the show, and you guys showed the love yesterday, and we really, really appreciate that. So shout out to you guys for the big win over Cincinnati, and we'll keep covering BYU as long as they keep winning right now, which is what they're doing under Kalani Sitake. So